Nickel, we're onto something here. We're fixing it. What did it say? Blueberry? It may well have come free in a gas station. We've discovered the worst rated wine. Hi, I'm Johnny. I run the world's fastest growing wine company. Last year alone, we sold 2 million bottles. Along the way, I've learned a lot about wine, but we're only scratching the tip of the iceberg. It's not actually that bad. Content in. Yeah, it's pretty weird. So, welcome to Winedrops. Cheers. Okay, so a few weeks ago I had a very stupid idea. How big is the difference between the world's best wine and the world's worst wine? Obviously, a massive difference, but let's go wine by wine. Let's go red, white, sparkling, rosé, and see how big the difference is between the best wine and the worst wine. Now, how do you decide what is best and what is worst? Well, have you ever heard of this app? It's a bit of a classic, Vivino. Vivino is a massive wine rating app. The average rating for a wine is between 3.6 and 3.8. The guys on Vivino are bloody harsh. So if a wine is rated 3.9 or above, I think it's pretty darn good. If it is rated below 3.4, then I'd say avoid.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
So anything between 3.4 and 3.9, I'd say is pretty average. Anything below 3.4 is piss water. I want to find the absolute worst one I could find on Vivino. So I kept scrolling, right? Kept scrolling all the way to the bottom. And I found something that's rated 2.7 out of 5. Horrendous. Just for sake of argument, there's fewer than 1% of world wines that exist below 3. So this is in the bottom of the bottom. It sticks out like a sore thumb because it's the label is also disgusting. So clocking in at under 2.7, which is, you know, fewer than 1% of world wines hit these kinds of uncharted territory, is Odd Socks Shiraz. What a ghastly label for starters. I'm looking at the Vivino profile here. I just feel like whoever named this wine is probably kicking themselves right now because there is potentially nothing as foul or as useless as an odd sock. So it kind of fits beautifully. Anyway, the Vivino page is class. So some of the highlights, okay, so long as it's free from a gas station. So drinkable if it's free. Smells like ammonia, otherwise known as piss. And this rather snobbish comment left in Mandarin, it means common people's first choice. So in the words of pulp, I want to do whatever common people do.
Well, excuse me for having enormous flaws that I don't work on!
Right, and look, I'm going to give the same treatment to the best rated wines, so you've got to be fair. We're going to decant the Odd Socks Shiraz. This is probably the first time this wine has ever seen the inside of a decanter. Let's give it a go. If you're wondering why we do this poncey decanting stuff, it's literally just to increase the surface contact with oxygen. And what that does is it brings out some of the secondary and tertiary flavours that you might get in this Odd Socks Shiraz. We're expecting red forest fruit with a touch of spice. The generous palate presents blueberry, cherry and plum flavours with hints of mocha and vanillin. Nice typo on the label.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
And then it's a bit too early. You'd normally want to let it breathe for about 30 minutes, but let's go. Right, let's give this a swirl. What did it say? Blueberry? Mocha? Vanilla? No. I can just smell alcohol. You know, on cheap wine, you can just, it burns the back of your nose. That's what it smells like. Right, let's have it. It's harsh, it's quite thin. So what happens is the fruit flavours just go away immediately, and what you're just left with is this slight burning sensation in the back of your throat. Finish goes immediately. So I can't taste any fruit. All I can feel, slight burn. I know that I've drunken some wine, and that's about it. So Odd Socks, you are pretty foul, and I totally agree with the couple of thousand people who rate you as piss water. I'm sorry. Nickel, we're onto something here. We're fixing it. Let's go on to the best rated wine. We're on to the best rated wine, and I've been excited about this. And got not one, but two Tignanellos, right? These cost about £200 each. Okay, so the question remains, which vintage are we going to go with? And I can promise you I've never asked this question to myself in my life. Part of the reason why I wanted to start this YouTube channel so much is because I wanted to have this all expensed. But look, is there ever a more exciting question to ask yourself than which vintage of Tignanello do you go with? First off, what the hell even is Tignanello?
Since making its debut in 1971, Tignanello has established itself as one of the world's finest wines. It was the first in Tuscany to blend Sangiovese with French varietals like Cab Sauv and Cab Franc and age it in small oak barrels. A move so revolutionary that we now have a name for the practice of mixing Italian and French winemaking practices: Super Tuscan. Tignanello and the Super Tuscans that followed shaped Italian viticulture and changed a whole generation's palate. Big and rich wines, unapologetic in their use of oak.
This is an absolute
beast on the vino.
Let me just check the profile. Okay, so 2018 is the one we're going to go with, because that is rated 4.7. Damn! You pretty much never see a wine rated as highly as that. So I am actually very excited here. Even the cork smells better than the Odd Socks. If you are a fan of wine, this is sacrilege what I'm doing here. There's still some Odd Socks in the bottom here, and there's still some tartrate crystals that are laid in the top there. But, you know, we're in a garden shed. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Again, we should let it marinate for way longer than what I'm doing here. But I'm paying for next time by the hour, so I'm going to have to get it out. Here we go. And already, the colour is like a ruby. Get that away from me.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
I mean, it is different gravy. It's so pronounced. And it's kicking up all the things that you would expect of a big Super Tuscan. You could take this a lot older. It's 2018. It's but a mere infant when it comes to the lifespan of a Tignanello. But this is blueberry. It is chocolate. It's mocha, vanilla, touch of leather. This is where I don't care about paying for next time, because I could actually do this all day. That is beautiful. If you went from one to the other, it's like that actually smells of, it smells of something. And going from one to the other, it's outrageous. When I came up with this idea for this video, I've never tasted wines of such varied quality one after another, so I wasn't really sure how it was going to go, but I just cannot describe to you over the medium of video how different this is. That is gorgeous. Okay, all right, let's get it out of the schnoz and into the goz. So, in comparison with the Odd Socks, I swallowed it, which is a big difference. I don't need my garden bucket, spit bucket. I can still taste it. I can taste everything that the winemaker put into it. I can taste the oak. I can taste the small amount of bottle age that it's had. I can taste the herbaceousness of the Cabernet Sauvignon mixed with that oaky, gorgeous mocha chocolate. It's still going. And we say, you know, when you're learning about wine, if you can still taste it, 30 seconds after finishing your sip. We say that's a long finish, and this is like Return of the King long. It's unbelievable. So it's big and it's bold, but it's balanced. There's nothing screaming out of the glass, which is not in concert with the other flavours. It is flawless. Now, I don't want to be mean to the odd socks here, because this costs £4. This costs £200. Is this a 40 times better drink? No. If you gave them to a layman, they're both wine, right? So to say this is rubbish and this is good is not particularly exciting journalism, but the difference in your enjoyment of them is 40 times, right? This is a wine that you would drink to get drunk and you would wake up with the stonkiest hangover you've ever had in your life, whereas this is a wine that every single sip you will enjoy yourself. And so in that sense, it is a 40 times better experience, more than that, because this is something I actually want to do. That is gorgeous. Anyway, when I said that I found the worst red wine, I was not necessarily telling the truth. There is one worse one. Is it even a wine? That is the question, because I think a lot of people would say it's not. And I'm going to shit on the non-alcoholic wine space here.
Here I come.
Because there's one that clocks in lower at 2.5, which is, I think, is the worst rated wine on Vivino, which is the Naturio 0.0 de-alcoholized wine. It's like filled all the way to the top. Like, I'm touching the wine here. I've never seen that before. It's like it's been poured by hand. So what I'm expecting here is something that is just very thin, very fruity. It won't have any of the burn or the balance that we expect from a nice big red wine. I may well be surprised, but often the guys on Vivino are exactly spot on. So colour-wise, it doesn't look too bad. It looks thin. Looks like a sort of like a Burgundy Pinot Noir, that sort of colour. Where it's just a bit thin. Smells like Ribena. Yeah, it's just. It tastes like Ribena. It's nice. I don't know how to say this. It is nice. Because Ribena is nice. But if you were trying to drink that alongside a steak or any of the foods that traditionally accompany nice big red wines, you're wasting your time. Look, if I'm going to try and appraise it like a proper wine. So, on the nose, super simple, generic, blackberries. Then, on the palate, blackberries. Finish, blackberries. It's long because it's sweet. It's sweet, it's fruity. So the finish is like quite long. Now, this is a problem here because I've actually forgotten which one's the Tignanello. So this is where I prove myself, because you'll be able to see on the camera like where it's spread. I mean, you should be able to know straight away, shouldn't you? Okay, that's the Tig. Right. So side by side, this has those tertiary flavours. It's got the leather, it's got the oak, it's got the chocolate, it's got weight to it and body. It opens up. It's still getting better. This is honestly so flat. It just smells like a balloon that's got all the air pissed out of it. It's just so flat and simple and faintly medicinal. And that's blackberry. That's Ribena. So look, there you have it. Side by side, best, worst, not even a wine.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And look, Nick, I said we were going to break the boundaries of wine journalism here, and we've discovered good wine is good, shit wine is shit. There you go.